What's going on? Anything new? Anything big going on? Anything worth talking about today?
I did watch the new Thor movie. Did you know there's a new Thor movie?
I heard something about that. I actually watched that yesterday. So,
Thor:
and you
Love and
watched it.
Thunder. I
You watched
it
it
today.
this morning. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
All right. So we have some stuff to talk about. I don't know. Do you want to give your initial thoughts now, or do you want to go over some show note stuff? What do you want to do?
I want to start out with your initial thoughts because I think I know what they are. You dropped a few hints along the way in our episode yesterday talking about Miss Marvel. What are your thoughts about the new Thor movie?
My thoughts are that this movie was a strong attempt to replicate the good parts of Thor Ragnarok, and Thor Ragnarok was an attempt to replicate the good parts of Guardian of the Galaxy. So what's his name? What's the director's name?
Taika Waititi.
Yeah. So I like him. I think he does a pretty good job. I think his vision.
Have you seen any of his stuff that's outside of the MCU?
I don't think so. Name some for me.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Mm-mm.
That Blackbeard show that was out recently. Our Flag Means Death.
Mm-mm.
And Jojo Rabbit.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I've seen all of that. It's all good stuff. So
I feel pretty terrible that I don't know any of that.
Add it to your list.
So there's two ideas here that the movie had that I thought were gold mines. First, the Jane Foster become the Mighty Thor, that storyline, and then Gore the God Butcher was these two storylines. And so I knew from the trailers that this movie was not going to take those from like at heart. They weren't going to take both of them and use them to the full comic book experience. They could.
Okay.
But I think that was a missed opportunity. I think that the subject matters that the story that the movie was based off of should have been treated a little more seriously. I understand that, the humor stuff has been really popular for a lot of Marvel movies, and it works for some of them. But this wasn't one of them. And I think that this could have been a movie on par with like a Captain America Civil War. It could have been on par with like Iron Man, like 1 or 2. It could have been on par with it's so many Black Panther, something like that. Instead, it's just like it just came like another movie, sort of like Thor Ragnarok, and even Thor Ragnarok had some serious undertones, some serious stuff going on with it that this movie just didn't want to do.
This movie had some serious undertones.
Yeah,
throughout it.
A few. But let's just take the Mighty Thor for example. Jane Foster has cancer. Mjolnir calls out to her. She grabs it. She is worthy. She gets the power of Thor, but she has cancer. And whenever she grabs whenever she picks up the hammer, then her chemotherapy.
Her body can't fight off the cancer when she's Mighty Thor.
Yeah. Exactly. And so like that could have been something that we could have played with. And the movie did play with it pretty hard. But I was disappointed that she died at the end. Well, that's a side note. But I kind of feel like...
Yeah, I mean, how much does Natalie Portman want to be in MCU movies?
Not many, not much. That's true.
Yeah, so I think this is... it seems... I don't really like the term fan service, I think, but I think this is just... Let's get Jane Foster as the Thor. People love that. Let's do it for one movie. It's done.
Yeah, I kind of wish they didn't even do it now. Like, I kind of wish, like, if that was what we were going to get... I kind of would prefer not getting it at all.
I was partially thinking maybe this was going to be a passing of the baton movie, where the baton passes from Chris Hemsworth to Natalie Portman, but that's a little bit, I think, ridiculous because I don't think she would want to be in. She doesn't want a standalone Jane the Mighty Thor. Movie.
I think it would have been fantastic if she would have, and like I kind of
but I just don't. I don't see that for her. I don't think she would want that.
No, but if that's the case, I don't think they should have even made this movie with her doing this. Like because like it's too much. Like they could have easily done a Thor with the God Butcher part, And that's like the original God Butcher story has not just one Thor, but multiple Thors throughout time.
And you want closure to the Jane Foster arc, and this is a good way to do closure to that.
We didn't even know we wanted that because she hasn't been in any movies since Thor 2, since Thor: The Dark World. So that's been a long time.
She's been in movies, hasn't she? She's been in some of the.
Nope.
You sure about that?
Nope. She's only been in 2 movies, Thor and Thor: The Dark World.
No, didn't they brush her off for like some later movie?
Which one?
One of the Avengers.
No.
Doesn't she show up in one of those?
No.
You
do
I'm trusting you because you know more about this stuff than me, but I thought she was.
She hasn't been in any of them. None of them. And so she shows up for this one. And I know that Natalie Portman's probably thinking, I don't want to get a long-term Marvel Disney contract with this. But I'm thinking, like, this is going back to what I talked about last podcast. I don't feel like it's any kind of steering wheel for the overarching Marvel storyline. If she's not going to be Thor, then I don't understand why even introduce her. This gets people really excited, thinking that Natalie Portman is going to be the new Thor moving forward, but then we don't get that. And it's like, okay, well, and there's other things that, all the Stormbreaker jokes they made, like this inanimate object is jealous of another inanimate object. The fight. I don't even want to get started really with the fight in Omnipotent. Ooh, that's a hard word. Omnipotent City. That whole thing was crazy. The fight scenes weren't that strong. The fight scenes that we get,
I had no problem with the Stormbreaker scenes. I thought it was fine.
Like we're okay, so we're getting to a point with these Marvel movies that they have to be.
It's definitely better than Doctor Strange's cloak.
I don't know.
But yeah, no, it's better than that.
Here's the thing. Here's the deal, though. We're getting to the point where these Marvel movies need to be absolutely great, and this one's not, in my opinion. This is fun, and I think Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was pretty good. I think Spider-Man: No Way Home was great. But Thor should have been really, really good, and it's not. It's just
a fun movie. It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. That's true. It's a fun movie, but it's not what I want. It's just
I enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it?
I don't think I did. I don't think I did enjoy it. I think I just watched it. I don't think I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I sat down. I ate my popcorn. But there's just these.
It had some really great shots in it. There were some really good shots throughout the movie.
Yeah, I suppose.
It was a fun time. Bill Pope was the cinematographer, or one of the 2 cinematographers for this. So he does a great job with doing good shots.
Yeah, keep going. Tell me other things that you liked about the movie.
I don't know. It seemed like it was a good story. I don't know anything about Gorr from the comics. I don't know anything about Jane Foster's Mighty Thor storyline or her She Has Cancer storyline, but I thought it was a good way to tie off Jane Foster for the MCU and put that to bed. I don't have any major issues with it. I don't think it says. I know a lot of people are saying it's a pretty bad Marvel movie, but it doesn't seem like it's near the bottom of the stack for me. Seems like it's somewhere in the middle.
I think we'll have to do another ranking at some point, but
yeah.
I'm not sure exactly why Thor Ragnarok worked the way it did, but if they were trying to redo that magic with this one, I just kind of feel like I'd rather them try to do something completely different. There's so much untapped potential in this movie with Jane Foster that I kind of just wish they could have just I would have preferred a Foster Mighty Thor movie with no other elements, just her being Thor, no Chris Hemsworth, nothing else, just her being the hero. I think that would have been fantastic. But again,
that'd be a great movie, but Natalie Portman doesn't want to do that movie.
Well, we don't know what she wants to do. Right?
Come on.
But she signed the contract to be in this movie, so she could have had the starring role in a big movie, and she still could have died at the end. But I just kind of feel like there wasn't enough room for all the elements to flex. I feel like people in Marvel Studios are thinking that we are kind of over these big superhero spectacles, and I'm not. Like I want the big superhero. Like if you look at Thor: The Dark World, the final fight scene is absolutely amazing compared to what we got in this movie. Like there's so many.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that.
And like we don't get. There's no.
Thor: The Dark World has one of the best battle scenes in all of the Marvel cinematic universe.
We can debate that, and I think that's worth a debate.
And I think you agreed with me when we were talking about that.
Maybe, I don't know. I say a lot of stuff. But I probably
one of the best battle scenes.
Yeah,
maybe one of the best battle scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't. There's like, what's the set piece battle scene here? The kids?
Yeah, I guess it's when they're in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, and like even the fight scene with Gorr, Thor, and it's like that's even like a little and like
you really get two. You get the you get the new Asgard invasion, and then you get the children and Thor in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah, the new Asgard invasion didn't last long, and the children in the Shadow Realm was like and it's here's my last thing before we get into some of the stuff for the comic. This whole green screen thing is getting old, and I think
What do you mean by that?
Like there's limitations to how you can make movies grand and powerful looking with green screens and CGI, and I feel like we've reached it. Like there was nothing I saw in this movie that makes me be like, wow. Everything's like because nothing really feels real, you know. And this is the only movie where I felt like this is one of the only movies recently where I felt like. This green screen CGI thing is not working. We need to do something different. So there was nothing I saw that I looked at. I was like, wow, that's an amazing set piece. This is an amazing scene. Nothing, you know, not even spoiler alert. Well, not really, because this podcast is always spoiler alert.
There was some scene where Thor's like in the foreground and there's like a sunset in the background. I can't remember what was going on in that scene, but it was a great looking shot.
Was that the beginning?
It may have been.
And like before we even get started, we had the entire cast of Guardians of the Galaxy that was completely unneeded. Like, why are they even there? They didn't do anything. You know,
that's just showing him leaving the Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's where he was.
Yeah, but for everything this movie had, for all the ingredients this movie had, the end product was disappointing, and I'll just leave it at that.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Let's get into the show.
I've got one question, and then I want to get into my questions.
Go for
it. So, the one question is: this was not a passing of the baton from Chris Hemsworth to Natalie Portman.
No.
Jane Foster is in Valhalla now.
Yeah.
She died in this movie.
Yeah.
Is Chris Hemsworth going to do a bunch of more Marvel movies? Is that what he said
he would? He said he would.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said he'll do them until people don't want him to do them anymore.
He's got more standalone superhero movies than any other member of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, and it kind of shows. I mean, this kind of feels like I don't know if he phoned this in, but I feel like collectively everybody phoned this in. It was like, we need another Thor movie. Here you go. I know you don't have a problem with it, and most people will feel like you feel. Most people will be like, it was fun, whatever. I'm concerned about the future, and I think that if the new Black Panther movie that comes out in December is not amazing,
come on, dude.
There's going to be serious concerns with Marvel movies moving forward. It just is.
You're hinging your hopes on the new Black Panther movie. I think you're bound to be upset with that.
I don't know.
Production of that movie was not smooth in any way, shape, or form.
We need a home run, and we're like, this year is there's only one home run. That's not even I would say Doctor Strange is the only good one this year. Hey, other than that, we don't have any home runs.
Do you know what comes next? Like, what's the next movie? Is it after
Black
Panther? What's after that?
After that? I don't know.
Okay.
But I mean, Miss Marvel's Miss Marvel is the best Marvel thing being produced right now, and the critics love it, but the viewership's low. That has nothing to really do with anything else besides racism. But the point is, the point is, it's like this is a lackluster year if this is like this. I'll just say it now. This is a lackluster year. Like this is not as great as it could be. I think Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it.
That was really fun.
I mean, Thor could.
Sam Raimi did a great job with that.
Yeah, I'm not alone in this. I think if you look at the,
I definitely think I caught myself smiling more in the Doctor Strange than I did in this one. But they, I think they're not that far apart in my level of enjoyment of those two movies.
All right, we'll have to do a new rating at some point to rate all the movies again. But I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let's start. We have a lot of questions.
Time for my questions.
Let's do it.
All right, there's a god that we're introduced at the beginning of this movie. He's not cool, but his name's Rapu.
Yes.
Can you tell us anything about this guy?
No.
He's not from the comics.
He's not from the comics at all. He's like, I know that in the Gore the God Butcher storyline, there was a generic god that was killed. Mm-hmm. But I don't know exactly who he is or what relation he is to anything. So he's not anything. No.
Right. I like that scene. That was a fun scene.
Yeah, I thought the scene was fun. I thought the world that the god was inhabiting was kind of sad and lonely. You know, it felt very claustrophobic. I think the scenes with Christian Bale as Gore were very dark, and I thought they were strong. Mm-hmm. But
I hear he's a good actor.
He's okay. Did you notice that he was pulling off the little Batman voice at the end? I don't know if he did it on purpose.
I did not notice that.
But if you listen to him at the end, he's definitely got a little Batman voice going on.
Gotcha. Anyway, okay.
Next question.
Right, so tell us about Gore.
I didn't read as much about I didn't read much about this comic as I should have. I didn't read the comic at all. But he is from the comics. His name is Gore the God Butcher. The beginning's the same. His wife and family were killed or died from a famine. And he blames the gods for not saving him and his family. When he met, so at some point he there's a god fighting this being called, his name is Kull, I think Kull. Make sure that
cool name.
Yeah, his name. Yeah, no, it's Null. Knull. No, I'm sorry. Oh God, I messed up. Knull. Knull. Okay. Now this is going to freak you out. This dude, Null, is the god of the black symbionts from Spider-Man and Venom.
Okay.
So his story is he created the symbiote. So the symbiote that is in Venom, those comics and everything else, he's the being that created those. And Gore took some of that energy, like he had a symbiote energy, and that's how he got the sword, the necro sword, and that's how. And the necro sword in the comics is actually like something that morphs and changes. So it's pretty much he has a living, super powerful symbiote creature, like a symbiote, like Venom. So I know why they didn't do this in this movie. I kind of wish they did it.
You don't really want to bring up the Venom.
I kind of wish they did. It would have been fun. But it's just so much going on with that, so they kind of left that out. But then Gore, like him and Thor fight for like 900 years, like off and on. They have different battles for like centuries, and then there's a lot of time. There's a lot of time travel. There's a lot of future Thor versus past Thor. It's future, present, and past Thors fighting him. There's a lot going on, and this movie doesn't encapsulate any of that.
So more than the two battles in this movie, then.
Way more. And so I mean, they did the best they could, I guess, but the history between Thor and Gore is like long and protracted, not just this short little bit.
Right. I just want to name check them. I don't think they were actually named in the movie, but Thor's goats show up in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
They yell a lot. Their names are Toothgrinder and Toothgnasher. Those are pretty direct translations of their names from Norse mythology.
And they are in the comics a lot, so you have seen them in the comics off and on. And they were funny. They were legitimately funny. That was good.
That was his gift for his gift in quotes for saving this tribe of people on a planet. And desecrating their temple in the process.
Yeah, they tried to. That was funny. Kind of. I mean, it was funny-ish.
Yeah, it was a good scene. Last time we see the Guardians of the Galaxy in the movie, though.
Yeah, I'm curious why we have this like rock and roll kind of metal kind of look to Thor for a while, and then it just goes away. This like red leather vest and t-shirt and jeans, and he's like high kicking stuff,
right?
And then it just changes automatically to something else. Yeah, like the tone shifts in this movie just go all over the place. It feels like we're watching like several different edit versions of the movies kind of get combined. And we don't really have a solid one, but anyway.
I have an interesting fact about his goats from the mythology.
Yeah.
Thor can kill his goats, eat their meat, save their skin and their bones, and then resurrect them from their skin and their bones using Mjolnir.
That sounds great. That's
pretty awesome. Yeah, it's very
forever
sustainable harvesting. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the kind of technology we need right now.
Yeah, totally. Any interesting factoids you have from the comics about them?
None.
Okay.
No.
All right. Cool.
No. I know that at one time he flies one of the goats. I'm not sure which one, but I know that he uses one of the goats to fly because he loses Mjolnir at some point during the Mighty Thor storyline. He loses Mjolnir. He gets his arm cut off, and something else happens to him. I think he loses an eye.
I think there might be some kind of a relation between Thor's goats and Santa's reindeer.
What?
I think the mythologies around Thor and his goats might have led towards some of the mythologies around Santa and his reindeer.
I would rather have flying goats.
Can fly. His goats can fly in the North.
Yeah, I would much rather have flying goats than flying reindeer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right,
whichever one tastes better.
Yeah, I think reindeer tastes pretty good.
Never had it. Okay. Thor parts ways with the Guardians of the Galaxy. He goes to rescue Sif from
That was
Gorr.
good. Yeah, that was good. That scene where he meets Sif and that huge god was like dead there. Do you remember seeing that?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's directly from the comics, and Gorr does kill him. But there was some controversy because that scene where you actually see the dead god there, and Thor and what's his face are like standing on that little mountain looking at him. That was directly pulled from one of the comics, and the controversy was that the artist who drew that whole thing didn't get any credit. So I mean,
they're never going to.
Yeah, no, it's sad, but
that's their relationship with Marvel. That's how it was set up. So,
but we do get Sif.
It'd be nice if they'd throw some of this Hollywood UBI money their way.
That'd be nice.
They don't. Yeah,
that'd be nice. But we do get Sif, so that's kind of wrapped up, and her arms chopped off, which is good.
Right.
I'm curious why, from a storytelling element, I'm curious why Sif knows about Gorr and is trying to hunt Gorr, but no one else knows about him. Like I'm curious why Sif knows that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe she just ran across him.
Yeah, but that should have been cleaned up at some point somehow.
Jane Foster has cancer. I know you've told me several times that in the comics she has cancer.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you want to tell us about that?
Nothing much. Well, I will say this. So in the Mighty Thor storyline, she does have cancer. The hammer does call to her. She does grab it. She does get the power. She does she is the Mighty Thor for an extended period of time. She is an Avenger for an extended period of time. The Sam Wilson Captain America and her had a love affair, I think, at some point. So that would have been kind of cool if we would have saw that on the big screen. But at some point, I think it's not battling Gorr. It's battling someone else. I forget who the battle was. But at some point, she loses the hammer. I think she destroys it. I forget what battle that is from the comics. But the hammer gets destroyed, but it gets rebuilt. But she doesn't die in the comics. She's still alive. She's the character Valkyrie, so she has different powers and stuff. But she's not dead. So after she lost the hammer, she just started taking chemotherapy, and I think she was cured of it.
Gotcha. Cool.
So I'm not 100% sure why they did that. But I think she did go to Valhalla, but then she changed her mind and she left. I think. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I guess that door is always open if Jane Foster decides she wants to do some Marvel movies.
Yeah. I mean, what I liked about the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster becoming Thor, what I liked about it is that the Marvel did. It was a pretty big risk, giving her those abilities and making her the new Thor. I thought that was good. And what I liked about it too is that Thor, Odin's son, became unworthy. Like at some point, he lost his ability to even pick up the hammer. Which and I kind of wish they would have done that in this movie. It would have given the movie a different feel. It would have been like, hey, I can't do this anymore. So it would have been kind of like a whole different personality trait for him. I don't know why they didn't want to do that. It could have been a good way to do it, but they did what they want to do. So
if he was not worthy to hold Mjolnir, would he be worthy to hold Stormbreaker?
Yeah, because Stormbreaker doesn't have an enchantment over it like Mjolnir does. I mean, in this movie, several different people grab Stormbreaker. Like,
that's true. Okay.
So, but Mjolnir, it's a different thing. It has a different kind of incantation on it, so you can't just grab it. But I mean, it is what it is. Can't really complain too much. I can, but I'm not going to anymore.
I do think this is one of the low points of the movie when they go to Omnipotent City.
Mm-hmm.
To try to get help from the other gods.
Mm. Yes, it's not only a low point in the movie. It's a weird thing to do. I don't understand. Like, okay, so here's my thing.
Yeah,
there's two things here. One, what gods were not there, Mike?
There were no Egyptian gods.
And didn't we just have a TV series that came out that was focused specifically on those gods?
And when we were talking about Moon Knight, I was like, I wonder if this ties into the new Thor movie since there's a god killer in there.
It's really weird that we didn't get a scene of Khonshu just sitting there. Now, how cool would that have been if Khonshu is just sitting there or he said something? Yeah. Like, that would have been awesome. And that's a cheap, easy thing to do, and they just didn't do it. Like I don't get it. And
that makes no sense.
We've had lots of different gods over the course of since the beginning of the Marvel superhero movies to now, and I don't know why they couldn't think, okay, let's tie this stuff all together. It's just odd to me. Omnipotent. How you say it? Omnipotent City is in the comics. It is from the Gore storyline, so that's fine. But they just I don't understand why someone at Marvel didn't think, let's put some Easter eggs in here, let's have a little fun. Instead, they had some weird, what was that little cartoon thing they had?
The dumpling, the bow.
Yeah, the bow bun. What? The God of Bow Buns?
I liked it.
Missed opportunity.
I liked it.
Missed
but yeah, they should have had some Egyptian gods in here. They could have had like you were saying, what's his name? I'm drawing Khonshu. Or was it Tahiti? Or I don't know.
Yeah, the hippo.
Yeah, the hippo.
He could have been in it 100%. Yeah. That would have been fun. They could have done a lot of different things. I don't understand why they didn't do it. I don't understand.
Could have seen Horus. Yeah. Ra. Didn't they even mention that Ra hangs out at this place and we don't see him?
Yeah. I don't know. And I don't understand the fight. I mean, I don't understand. They in the movie they technically kill Zeus, but then they have a after movie scene where he's not dead. And I don't understand any of it. It's just that whole thing there. I feel like they had a good idea, and even the fight was kind of not great. It's just what are we looking at here? It's just fine.
But the coolest thing was the fight with the guards, where they all turned into gold dust when they were killed.
That fight wasn't even that great, though. It was okay.
I just said it was the coolest part of this whole scene. I didn't say it was great.
Yeah. Ugh.
It did remind me a little bit of Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
And I know they wanted to save Hercules for a little surprise at the end. Yeah. They should have introduced Hercules right then and there. Thor versus Hercules right there. That would have been a great fight.
Yeah, that could have been cool.
Would have been super cool. It would have been interesting to look at. Instead, we get Zeus doing little tricks with the Thunderbolt, and I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing here?
What do you think of Russell Crowe as Zeus?
I don't know. I think it could have been better. It almost feels like they didn't take like. I know that this is just a movie, and I know that movies are supposed to be fun. But if you read comic books, these aren't just movies. These are representation of the books you've read since you were a kid. And like Zeus is a major guy in the comics. He's super powerful as Odin. It's like super powerful, super cool. And we get him joking around and like, and like I don't think that was the right call for this movie. I think they should have went a different direction. But
yeah, I mean, I agree. This was the low point of the movie.
Yeah.
What about Zeus's Thunderbolt?
Not from the comics at all. It's a brand new thing they made up.
Okay, Zeus is
definitely in the comics a lot. We see him a lot because like he's Hercules' father, and Hercules is in the comics for a long time. He's actually an Avenger. He's a pretty big character.
Zeus is an Avenger?
No, Hercules is an Avenger.
Hercules is an Avenger. Wow, okay.
Yeah, the pantheon of gods in the comics are pretty well known. And I'm not sure exactly why.
Do they like interact with Thor a lot?
I know Hercules does, but I don't know about the other ones. But you know,
are they
like
friends or are they fighting each other?
Both. Depends what day it is.
Okay.
It's seriously like Hercules is kind of a jerk. Gotcha. So like he always kind of picks fights left and right. So he's always like wanting to challenge people, wanting to kind of show who's the best. So you get like different times where Hercules is showing off, but but you see them go head to head or fight together. They probably
picked a good actor for him then.
Yeah, who's the guy?
I don't know his name, but he's in Ted Lasso, and he was excellent in Ted Lasso.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
He actually wrote and directed several of those episodes.
Yeah, we'll have to see how they go play with Hercules moving forward. So we don't know when we're going to see him again.
Right.
We'll just wait and see.
What about the Shadow Realm?
The Shadow Realm, there are several and many Shadow Realms in the comics. There's tons and tons of them in Marvel. So I
liked that it was a small planet.
Yeah.
A planetoid, yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different versions of a Shadow Realm or a Shadow Dimension from the comics. It's not even worth trying to pick one.
Okay.
So
in the temple in the Shadow Realm, Gorr, I guess, knocks over the head of a statue and it almost falls on the kids.
Yeah.
It's a celestial statue. Did you notice that?
Yeah, if you look at that, and listen, I don't know if that is in. I thought so. This might be confusing. We have to fix this out. I know that the planetoid is in the Shadow Realm, but the place where Eternity and they have this final fight is supposed to be in the center of the galaxy or the center of the universe, which is a different.
But I thought isn't that the place they opened up after they used Stormbreaker in that temple? The portal that they opened up, I thought that was Eternity in the center of the universe.
They really didn't clarify. So it doesn't really matter. But I'm thinking that the temple that they were in is someplace different than the Shadow Realm because because even the look of the place was different. But
yeah, it definitely looked different. Yeah, so it could be okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the fact in the Shadow Realm. I like the whole idea of colors. I kind of wish they played on that more.
That was really cool, yeah. Like, it was mostly black and white. Sometimes Thor would be lit up based on their weapon, lighting them a little bit. Yeah,
I kind of wish we saw more of that. And I really do wish that whole fight scene was it was good, but I wish it was a lot better. They could have done a more. I don't think that's what they wanted. I think they wanted a different movie than that, but I kind of wish they would have.
Right. What about Eternity?
So, Eternity, this is kind of a complicated one. So, it goes all the way back to the Big Bang. In the Big Bang, in the Marvel universe, in the Big Bang, several different creatures came out of the Big Bang, along with like all the atoms and stuff from that made up a universe. So, just think of it as like
the Celestials. Didn't they come out of the Big Bang?
The Celestials did, but also several other beings. And like these beings, like for example, the first Watcher. He was there. Galactus, and several and a few others. Eternity is one of those beings, and so
Eternity kind of reminded me of the Watcher, the outline.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw did you see in the temple where if you looked closely, there was a statue of the Watcher there.
I did not see that.
There was a statue of the Watcher. There's also a statue of the Living Tribunal, which we'll talk about in a second. But essentially, Eternity is the representation of all space in the known universe. So, like, he represents all living creatures.
Right.
So, like, back in the comics, when Thanos was going to like kill half of all living creatures, Eternity was constantly trying to stop him because that would have basically killed him. And Eternity is opposed to death, which Thanos worshipped in the comics.
Right.
And so Eternity has a doppelganger or a partner called Infinity, and she represents all of time. And so basically how this works is Eternity is supposed to guard all life or all existence. That's his role, and he tries to stop anything that's going to hinder that. So he's a supernatural being, pretty much god like. Like if you think like Thor is a god, then like Eternity is like a uber super master god or something like that.
Gotcha.
He's in the comics quite a bit. He's extremely powerful, but there's nothing in the comics that says you can open a portal to him like they did in the movie. And he's never going to grant any kind of wish if you find him. That's not anything like that.
Okay.
So I'm not and in the temple, there was a statue of the Living Tribunal, but then Eternity is in the front and center, like he's the most powerful. That's not the case. In the Marvel comics, Living Tribunal is the most powerful being next to he who created all, which is sort of like a euphemism for God, like our form of God. And so that's technically the whole temple design is technically inaccurate. Like, I don't think they care, but
he who created all is different from he who remains.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Completely different.
Okay.
And so my point
he
is,
who remains we saw in the Loki series.
Yeah, he's Kang. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good call.
Yeah.
So my point is, like, Eternity is a being in the Marvel in the Marvel universe, but how they portrayed him in this movie, again, it's kind of lackluster. Not as awesome as it could have been. It is what it is. He looked cool. I like the way he looked. I think they did a good job with his look.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, it's just not comic book accurate. I think I think the longer this movie is in existence, the more people are going to be upset about what was not done in the movie. You're going to see a lot of people get pretty upset about that because there's a lot of cool. Again, I've talked about this. There's a lot of cool cosmic stuff that they could be doing with Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel and the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy movie and stuff like that. And that this is one of those times where they could have been building up to that and they just decided not to. I'm not really sure why.
Don't let this movie distract you from the other things you really should be getting angry about right now.
I'm not. I'm not putting all my anger into this one movie.
Channel your anger.
I'm legitimately kind of not upset, but like I'm just like, well, they could have done that. They didn't do that. They could have done that, and I don't have a lot of faith that they're going to do it. Like I just don't. Eternity could have been a great place for us to see. Like, okay, at the very beginning, I don't know if you noticed this, but there was this thing that formed at the very beginning that looked like that looked like Eternity's head. Did you see that?
At the very beginning of what?
The movie. I think it was at the beginning of the movie. I forget when this happened, but it looked like Galactus was actually being formed and not Eternity. So I just kind of feel like they could have done some really cool things with this, and they just decided not to, which is fine. It's fine, but
has Thor ever given people his power?
No, not the way we saw in this movie.
In this movie, he basically deputizes all the children with the power of Thor, and then he makes sure to say, it's only temporary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was fun to kind of watch. I like there were some fun things. There were fun things to the point.
I like the kid that picked a stuffed animal as their weapon.
Yeah, that was cool.
And then it turns out that weapon is like one of the best ones.
Yeah, that was kind of neat.
She's just mowing down creatures with it.
Yeah, that was kind of fun to watch. But that's not going like that doesn't happen in the comic books ever.
Okay. So in this movie, Gore's daughter is named Love.
Mm-hmm.
She gets powers at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Is she a character in the comics? Does she have powers?
Gore's children all died. One children, his son was kind of resurrected, but not by the way that the movie kind of does.
Okay.
But I think he dies at some point too. So there's never a character like Love or that has those abilities, and I'm not even sure what abilities she has. There's certain primordial kind of cosmic entities that can give people powers like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Eternity would never have done that in the first place. There is something that happens in the what was it? Infinity Gauntlet, where Gamora is possessed by Galactus, and she does an operation on Eternity, which is actually it's a long story. Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. But no, there's no the whole idea of Gore's child getting powers because she was resurrected and then being adopted by Thor and then go off and do space adventures. None of that is in the comic books. Like none of it. not any of it.
Okay.
But it's
I figured she probably just got powers since Eternity resurrected her.
That's the
powers as part of it.
Yeah, that's the movie's logic for sure. But that character is brand new. We've never seen her before.
Okay. According to people on IMDb, Love is played by Chris Hemsworth's daughter.
That's his daughter?
Yeah.
Huh. What is that? Is that accurate? Is she listed as a cast member?
She's not listed as a cast member, but that shows up in the trivia on IMDb.
That's cool. I didn't know he had a daughter.
There are several Hemsworth people that are credited in the cast. So apparently, like other relatives are in this, but she wasn't listed. Yeah,
I do think it's
anywhere.
It was kind of cute to see them like charge in the battle and her holding Stormbreaker and him holding Mariner again.
Yeah, he's reunited.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not going to say anything bad about that.
All right, you already spoiled the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene.
I did.
Mid-credit scene, Zeus tells Hercules to kill Thor.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene.
No, that's not. Is that what he said? Is that exactly what he said?
No, I didn't. I wasn't taking notes. But what does he say?
My thought was that he was supposed to go out into the world and just start, wrecking havoc to make people scare the gods again.
So, no, he definitely wanted him to take on Thor.
Okay. Yeah. He didn't say that.
He has a long rambling thing, but no, he says he wants him to take on Thor. Pretty sure.
Okay. Hopefully, we'll see Hercules before that, though. I would like another.
Well, so I'm wondering if there's going to be a Hercules versus Thor movie.
I wish I knew what they were thinking. I don't. I don't know if they because we still have so many other movies that's coming out. I don't know where they're going to put him. I don't know when's the next time we're going to see Hercules.
Where does Hercules fit in?
He's an Avenger, so he should show up when we need help. But him showing up to Earth to kind of wreak havoc is something that he would do. Maybe that's going to be a Hercules Disney Plus series. Maybe he's going to show up for She-Hulk. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue where Hercules is going to show up.
She-Hulk doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know.
Like the mid-credit scene for Eternals makes more sense than this. A lot more sense. And that's saying something because that scene didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, Star Fox and Pip the Troll. I don't know anything about those people.
Well, the thing is, those like Star Fox, Pip the Troll, Eternals, Celestials, that's all cosmic stuff. So we can see them amping up for the next Eternals and more cosmic.
Thor, Zeus, and Hercules are all gods.
That's true. But based off the movie we just saw, I don't know if they want to do something like that. I don't know what they're going to do. No clue.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about this movie?
My wife said that she heard a cool factoid that she wanted me to tell you guys.
Okay.
Apparently, there was going to be a dance number, a musical dance number with dance scenes and choreography and the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it was cut from the movie.
That could have been good.
No, it couldn't have been, Mike. It could have been terrible. And just the idea that that was something that they filmed it is just like insanity to me. Like, what? I don't know, man.
Did your wife watch this with you?
Oh no, she would never watch this movie. If
Right.
she saw this movie, it would
Confirm her worst
yes.
beliefs.
Yes. She was like, I told you I hate these movies, and now I have proof this movie's terrible. You make me watch these.
It's an enjoyable movie. It's a good popcorn movie.
Yeah, okay, it is a good popcorn movie, but this is my thing. These movies should be better than that, and so maybe we shouldn't have them. Maybe we shouldn't have 3 Marvel movies a year. Maybe we should have just one.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, maybe like these are supposed to be cinematic events, like super, not just fun, but also like remember when you saw Avengers, the very first Avengers movie? That was a cinematic event. That was like what am I looking at right now? You know,
right?
And then we get this movie where it's like, what is this? Yeah. So I really need to sit on this and get my thoughts together about this, because like my thoughts are bigger than what I'm saying right now, because I feel like I have an overarching idea of what I'm trying to say. I just don't have the room to kind of flex it out yet. But I'm concerned. You know, I'm concerned about the future installments of Marvel stuff. And I'm concerned about Kevin Feige. What's his name? Feige. Yeah, I'm concerned. I mean, I don't like. You know, does he know what he's doing? You know, like, is this working out? I'm curious what the audience, our listeners think. I'm curious what the general population thinks. I think that people who love Marvel movies are probably gonna be harder on this than like the average moviegoer. I think the average moviegoer will just go watch this and have a good time, which is fine. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Am I being too harsh on this, Mike? You can tell me if I'm being too harsh.
I believe you're being too harsh on it. Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? I see a version of myself that can be harsher on this.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
It's not. Is it great?
No.
And if it's something that's not great, doesn't that automatically make it bad?
No, it can be good.
Is this good?
Yeah, it's good.
Is it?
I enjoyed it.
One of the characters, Korg, gets hit by a lightning bolt thing, falls completely apart except for his face. And then Valkyrie takes his face, ties it around the back of her head with her hair, and he helps her fight by telling her, like, that doesn't sound.
Her 6.
What I just described doesn't sound good. It sounds weird.
Except it was good. I
don't think so.
Yeah,
I feel like it's not. I feel like it's just kind of weird. I feel like this whole movie's weird.
I feel like maybe you were in a bad mood. You weren't in the mood to have fun, and you need to rewatch this when it hits Disney Plus.
I'm worried that when this hits Disney Plus and I watch it again, I will be madder at this. I think I was giving this movie like second and third chances as I was watching it, and I think if I watch it again, I'll be super upset.
I walked out of it having enjoyed it. I have nothing bad to say about it. The worst I'll go is the Omnipotent City was kind of a low point, but other than that, I thought it was good.
All right, well, so let's see. We have Thor: Love and Thunder. We had Doctor Strange and Multiverse. We had Spider-Man: No Way Home. Before that, wasn't it Shang-Chi?
I think so. Yeah.
So I think it's time for a whole new. We got to look at the movies, and we got to do another ranking.
We got to
do another ranking.
Right.
Because we don't have.
Might be time.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think once we do a ranking, I think that you're going to realize that this movie's not as good as you think it is.
All right. Right now, Which one is better? This movie or Thor the Dark World?
Thor the Dark World, which is saying so much.
Okay.
That's saying a lot.
That movie has one of the best battle scenes in all of the MCU.
Not only does it have one of the better battle scenes, but there has plot elements that make sense, and I understand.
And then it has something that doesn't make sense at all as one of the mid-credit scenes.
What was that?
Where they tried to turn this liquid stuff that was in the movie the whole time into one of the Infinity Stones.
Okay, so we have one movie that takes a plot element and changes it to help with a further along of a bigger story. And we have another movie that just kills one of the characters, but he's not dead, but he has a face that talks. Okay,
he's a rock, man.
And you know, all that stuff with Korg, not from the comics. None of it.
Yeah.
Not a single thing.
Did you catch the name of Korg's husband?
Brian, I think.
My son told me it was Dwayne.
I thought it was Brian, and he has a rock mustache.
Yeah, well, they're rocks. So Dwayne the Rock. Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. It's good.
All right. Well.
All right. I've got to remind people to, if you're not already, subscribe, follow us, share this podcast. Coming up next is the last episode of Miss Marvel.
Yes,
Jarvis, you're not going to be here.
I will not be here.
Yeah, you're going to be off world traveling.
Yes, I desperately need a vacation, especially after this movie. I kind of feel like that movie was like, okay, I'm on vacation now.
Yeah, okay. We'll have an extra special guest in your place. Maybe you'll send us a special message.
I definitely will. And I'm looking forward to. It would be kind of fun to listen to a podcast I'm not in. That'd be kind of fun when I'm on vacation. Yeah,
cool.
But then we're gonna come back. We got a couple episodes planned, or we're going to be planning some more episodes. So we don't have a lot of dead space often. So we still got more work to do.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
There's always something.
There's always something.
Subscribe, follow, and share.